Hey Morphers, I'm Katrina from Studio In, financial coach to small business owners with today's Daily Decision, Personal Finance Edition. And I want to continue our conversation that we started in the previous session on retirement planning for small business owners. So again, you've left your employer who had an employer-sponsored plan, and now you're self-employed and you may have grown to have a team of people. So call it 5 or fewer. What are your retirement planning options? And so the prior session, we talked about the solo 401k for you and nobody else was on your team except for maybe a spouse, but it was very lean. It was only you, solopreneur. This one is a simplified employer pension or the SEP IRA. So let's talk about that. So it's you and a few more people on your team. And in some of the research, I've seen 5 people up to 4, I've seen up to 10. So call it you and 5 or fewer people just to be sort of on the safer side. Because once you start getting into larger teams, you're back at your kind of traditional 401k plans that you have with larger teams, just like the one you had when you were employed with a general employer. So let's talk about contributions. So the eligibility, again, you, a leaner team, 5 or fewer. The contributions for that, and I want to read this, make sure I don't misspeak, and then I get in all kinds of trouble. So 25% of each employee's pay up to $72,000 total. That is the contribution limit for 2026. 25% of each employee's compensation up to $72,000 total. Now, the other thing here to note is that it's employer contributions only. So your employees are not contributing to this plan. It's employer contribution only. There's only one place that I've seen where that was a little bit different, but by and large is employer only contributions at 25%. And it's 25%, it's not an amount because it wants to be relative to what people's compensation is. So the percentage is the same. And you do have some flexibility as well. You don't have to do this every single year. You can change the percentage, you can change the year that you're doing it. I wouldn't recommend you change it during the year. So if you're locking in, you're kind of locking in, but you can change it on an annual basis. But there's also no IRS filing or reporting either. It's a pretty streamlined administrative process for you as a small business owner, which is good because you want to offer the benefit without all of the paperwork and all the sort of the added component to it. So no IRS reporting or filing for that. So that's the SEP IRA. I'm going to pause there because I do want to promote a little bit. I'm having an AFC colleague come in. Her name is Julia. You've met her before if you've seen any of our previous podcasts, but she's coming in. We're going to have a full-blown conversation and podcast about these 2 particular plans, both the SEP IRA and the solo 401k. So I don't want to say too much because we're going to have a full podcast on it and go a little bit deeper into our conversation. And we start teasing some things out as well. So just know that's coming later on this month here in February. And then we'll let you know all about it. You'll get the application or the not application, but notification. So if you want to know about that, subscribe to the YouTube channel and it will ding you when it's ready to go. But so I'm going to pause there. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm Katrina from Studio In. I can say that. And until we meet, keep working on the change.